I made $1,000 selling beats before turning 18. I have 2 successful type beat channels and my beats are usually number ones on albums they are on. Here are 8 things that it took me to become who I am. Number 1. I made 2,500 beats and uploaded 700 pieces of content. Okay? This first thing is kind of exceptional. This first thing is the most important. If you want one takeaway from this video, it's actually the most important part. What it took me to become who I am. Making almost 3,000 beats, uploading 700 pieces of content. Stay with me because next advice, all other advices are just optimizing for this. The most important part is our input. Okay? The most important part is how many beats do we make, how many beats do we upload, how many conversations with rappers we have, okay? How many cold warm reach outs we try to do. The most important part is this, okay? And then I will teach you about things that I've cut out of my life. I had to sacrifice, I had to develop some habits, whatever. All of that was just to be able to produce more and upload more. Okay? So if you can stay fucking drug addict and I don't know, be a complete fucking loser and still make fuck ton of beats and upload fuck ton of them, you can still be more successful than I am, but you need to be able to maintain those fucking uploads. Okay? So this is the most important part, because why a lot of people will think that making beats about getting lucky, blowing up on social media. Man, you probably, there are some guys, because I would like to make it clear. I made like almost 3,000 beats in my life. I have, at the day of recording this, 416 beats available today. I had to write this number down generally. 416 available on my type beat channels, and I uploaded in general 700 pieces of content because some of the beats are not available, some of them are not on YouTube, and I also include in this my TikToks that I've made like a lot of time ago, and also my reels from Instagram, and also this content that I'm creating right now. Okay? 700 pieces of content, more than 400 beats available on YouTube. And now, if some really successful, some really fucking important guy in type beats would watch this, he would literally think, what a rookie. What a rookie. Because there are guys who do like double daily uploads for years straight. There are guys who have like type beat channel with 2,000 beats uploaded. And now they have like 10,000 beats available on the internet. So like 20 times more than me. Guess what? They make 20 times more money. Then they make like $200,000 with their beats, $100,000, whatever. Okay? And the same goes for me and you. Because if you're watching this, I would rather say you uploaded like 7 beats to the internet, to your life, okay? You uploaded like, you have like, 10 beats available. So I have like 40 times more. Okay, and now if you've barely sold like one license for like $30, I just made 40 times more. That's the whole fucking trick, okay? That's like a whole fucking trick. I just put out more content, made more beats. I put more work into it. Guys more successful than me, the same thing. It's not like they made like 2 beats more in their life. They made like 3,000 beats more. They doubled my input, okay? So I made this first lesson really long because you need to understand other advices will be specific for me and people very similar to me that just had to cut off things from their life. And every next step is actually sacrifices is harder to make, okay? But the reward is smaller. So this first thing has the highest ROI. So yeah, if you make more beats and you do more uploads, you will get more results. Okay, so let's maybe finish this first lesson. Now maybe let's get to lesson number 2. Video games. Okay, now sadly I know that a lot of you guys will get really triggered because generally some of the producers are kind of geeks. Okay, I also used to be there, so I can't blame you. Okay, I also used to be a fucking nerd. I had like 2,000 hours in League of Legends. I've played like video games for like thousands and thousands of hours. Okay, in solo games, in multiplayer games, whatever, literally. Okay, I've even used to be fucking chess.com addict, so I've been in every fucking possible situation of being video games player. Okay, and yeah, to like really start producing a lot of beats, to really start grinding my stuff, to really become something, I just had to cut it out. Because like I'm not the kind of person who could just play like 1 hour of video games. If I haven't played like video game at this point for more than a year, but like I stopped generally playing video games 3 years ago. I just had like these 2 relapses of just playing some solo game like in 2 evenings, and then I just uninstalled everything with games from my PC. So I haven't played a video game like personally for like a year straight at this point. Actually more, I'd say like 15 months or something. But generally, like if I would now start playing, let's say Sid Meier's Civilization 6, there are people who could genuinely play for an hour, have some fun and switch it off. But I'm fucking extreme. If you're watching this, you could also be this kind of person. I just start playing and I will like dive into it for 10 hours. Okay? That's my problem. That's generally a problem for a lot of young guys, but for me it's always the thing. And honestly, a lot of you will think that it's not you, but more or less it's you. There are some guys who could genuinely just go have some fun on Discord with friends for 1 or 2 hours and be good with that. Most of you guys who are kind of this ADHD, this kind of we are ambitious, high energy during the day. We are not really able to just stop doing it. Okay, so yeah, the first thing I had to cut out was just playing video games, because now if I was playing, let's say, 5 hours a day, or even like 3 hours a day, and so during 1 week it's like 20 hours. So now 20 hours extra to put into producing. It seems like it's bullshitting. No, literally. Because like making beats is like fairly more relaxing, fairly more easier than fucking video games, okay? So I took all this time that I was putting into video games and I started making beats like a maniac, okay? And I also had some other stuff on the side, let's say, but generally I focused on this like crazy. It was the first, well, still one of the most important sacrifices in my life, okay? So now we can go to lesson number 3. It was binge watching Netflix, and I also include in this overusing smartphone, okay? So at first, I had to sacrifice watching some TV series because it was after video games. It was the biggest problem, because I was also like able to just not sleep for a whole fucking night to just watch some The Walking Dead or something. Like I think I watched the almost whole The Walking Dead. I'm not sure, but I watched like a ton of that shit, a lot of those seasons. And I also used to use phone a lot, as you do probably. So the other thing I had to sacrifice, using phone in the evening and after waking up. So I still to this day, even though I made all those crazy sacrifices, I'm successful and stuff, I still use phones throughout the day, usually, but I don't use it in the evening and in the early morning, okay? Just this is a big no, not early morning, not late evening. Throughout the day, you could still do something while you're doing this, and I couldn't just watch those like Netflix series. It was not so hard to stop doing Netflix, and it was honestly not that hard to stop doing video games, because if you're still the guy who plays a lot, who just watches this shit a lot, it seems like it's so fucking hard, because it seems so fucking just sit with some fucking with some crisps and watch your fucking TV show. But honestly, once you start doing like generally important things, purposeful things during this time that you would put into those into this procrastination time, it just feels so good that you forget about it. Like honestly, video games, one of the easiest addiction to overcome. Even though I still haven't spent like more time on something than on video games. I genuinely would assume that like maybe overall on school I put more time, okay? But if I would say only on, let's say, mathematics, only on physics, I don't think that I put more time into physics during my whole fucking education than into like video games, because like I started playing when I got like this. Actually, no, I started playing like shit when I was like 8 years old, and I've stopped when I become like 16. Yeah, after I turned 16. So I would say 8 years. 8 years of like being a fucking video gamer, okay? So general, but still, even though I was so fucking like deep into this kind of in video games addiction, it was so easy to overcome. Like I never had something like, oh, I would love to play this video game so fucking much. I sometimes think, yeah, like Far Cry 5 was kind of cool or something. I still have these thoughts, but it's not really, I don't really fucking care. Really, like once you will start putting this time into just grinding, you will understand those things are not fun at all. Really, those things are not fun at all. Like, to be honestly, like grinding for let's say 10 weeks straight on producing beats and maintaining your type channel, it's also not that fun. But when you see effects, then the fun comes. When you see those DMs from rappers, that's fucking fun. When you get this fucking money from PayPal, that's fucking fun, okay? People start to respect you more because you make money, okay? That's when it's fucking fun, okay? That's when it's fun. So, at this point, sacrificing video games, sacrificing using phone in the evening, in the morning, and binge watching TV series and Netflix stuff in general, okay? So, I think number 4 was shitty friends. Okay, so not like cutting out my whole friends that are not producers, I mean just cutting out shitty people from my life. Because at this point, I'm like 100% sure that you still have some people that are just... they don't respect you, they don't want you to succeed, they would envy the like smallest piece of success you would achieve. There is no point in hanging out with them, okay? And I was able to like do a really good filtering because I try to be a rapper with few of my friends, okay? And I still remember, and you know, when you're like underground rapper, you're asking like your friends, your colleagues, people that you know, let's go, yo, go upload it, go check out my song. And then you can check it because some people are genuinely telling you, yo bro, you could improve this song was nice, I will actually like, you know, put it on the story because you put a lot of work in it. And some people are just laughing and they will never fucking do anything. Like, they are just so afraid of an idea that you could succeed without them that they will never fucking help. Like, genuine friends will have this mindset, okay, I would rather have my friend be a famous rapper than not, because I'm not losing anything in this. My friend will be very successful, so I will just be fucking happy. But a lot of people, honestly, most of people are like, fuck, if this guy becomes full-time rapper, I hate this guy, I would hate him so much. Because people are not actively thinking that, yeah, fuck this guy. But they are thinking, yeah, I'm better than him and I never want him to be better than me. So yeah, you need to find a way to just filter people. Like, okay, this is like my story, so I'm not telling you like strictly that, yeah, cut this, cut that. But generally, if you want to be like me, you should do similar things like me, because like, you know, habits are who we are. Habits are creating personality, in my opinion, generally. So yeah, you just need to find who is your genuine friend and who is like a fucking crap, who is like a fucking this traitor, okay? Who is like this Brutus, like, you know, in ancient Rome, who is this fucking Brutus? Most of people, you know, are just, they don't even know about it, but they deeply fucking hate you. They hate you to the core. They will never help you succeed. They will literally, like, I've hang out for so much with people that will literally, like, actively fucking working against me. Like, how crazy is that? I was in this, like, and we had this rap group with few of my buddies, which are still considered them good friends, but we had these few fucking colleagues, okay, these few guys that we are considering them friends. They were like actively fucking doing some things. They were telling these other rappers never see that, yeah, they are planning some diss track, they are doing this and that, you should, like, you know, they are generally, or they were like trying to fuck us up with, we are recording this vocal, we are making this vocal, so we need a girl for that, a singing girl. So this girl made a vocal, but she didn't want to release it, so we finally like had another girl sing it, and but the lyrics were the same, so it was kind of shitty. But so I was in a quick conversation with this first girl, and it was kind of in a kind of offensive manner, but it was okay. But then I was like kind of joking with this one guy, and about this whole situation. I wasn't offensive towards her, just made like a few jokes like, yeah, we'll get a lawsuit, but this was funny because we had like, you know, barely like, you know, 1,000 views on this rap song, okay? And I'm getting fucking folklore from that first girl. This guy, like, she was very fucking aggressive at this point, because this guy was telling her some total fucking BS, that we are like laughing at her, we are like, you know, we are talking that there is like a big beef between us and this first girl. Like, it was so fucking ridiculous, okay? I was considering this guy a friend. We were all in this like small rap group, and motherfucker, he was like this literally little fucking snake working against us. So literally, there are people who are genuinely this kind of guys. Okay, most of people are kind of in between, so they don't want to succeed, but they also will not work against you. But you need to strictly eliminate this like, you know, this lower 20% of people that will actively work against you in your life. Okay, so that's like the very important thing. I could make it number 1, like number 2 after like making a lot of beats, but generally I would say that it's harder to do, because you need to get to some point when you are more like, you know, you understand your situation more, because once you are still a totally fucking loser, and you are not, you don't have any like signs of success. These people that will work against when you will be successful, they are in AFK mode, because they are thinking about, yeah, he's some fucking loser, so I can even help him because he will anyway stay a loser. Only once you achieve some small level of success, you can start to see who is your friend and who is your enemy. So you need to totally cut off of your life those literally enemies acting like friends. Yeah, so now we can go to advice number 5, like, just like, not advice, generally think I had to sacrifice my rapping career. And this rapping career, so because we've tried to be a rapper with a few of my friends, then I tried to be a rapper on my own. And for some of you guys it will be something different. Maybe you'll try to become some sport figure, maybe you'll try to get into movies, you want to become, I don't know, whatever, honestly. You probably have something on the side in your mind, like when you're still not successful, that's very fucking common case. You want to be a producer, but you still want to be something on the side. And I need to worry you, I'm just feel bad for telling you that, but you need to cut this thing, okay? It's not bad to have a hobby. For example, I recently read some like fantasy book, like horror book from Stephen King. I wasted a lot of time, but not that much, okay? So it was like 1 or 2 days of reading. So yeah, I could put it into work, but it's okay. But this is kind of hobby that doesn't take that much time. But if you have a hobby like becoming a rapper, it means you need to grind on this. And when you start to grind on, like, you know, on rapping once a week, twice a week, and then like 5 times a week, then every day, you should put it into fucking producing, okay? You need to have some kind of priority. You just need to have some priority. You will not make progress at 2 things at once. I'm just sorry to tell you this. But if you can become a producer and you can become a rapper, easy. There are guys who are focusing on this and they can do this for months. They are struggling with that. For example, me. If you think that you can do these 2 things at once, you're just fucking insane. Sorry. You're just fucking insane for thinking that. Maybe you will be like Kanye West one time in the future, when you will be like a rapper, producer, whatever. But even Kanye West, at the beginning, he was just a producer. He became a really good producer. He was already like producing in like for Jay-Z, in generally like a label record of Jay-Z, something like that. And then he became rapper. You are not going to become 2 things at once. You need to master or this or that, okay? So I had to give up. Rapping for you, it could be anything, okay? But a lot of producers have this problem, that they also want to become a rapper, and they can make this choice. Like, if you want to become a rapper, go be a fucking rapper. But if you think that producing is better for you, you have better skills in producing, you have more like talent in producing, you just feels better for you to produce beats than make rap songs, just go into producing. Okay, be outstanding producer. Maybe at some point in the future, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now, you still then can become rapper. Once you will have like connections in the industry, skills of producing, a lot of money, then you will be able to become rapper. Okay. So now, thing number 6 that I had to sacrifice was drinking. Okay, generally in Poland, culture of drinking is I think very fucking strong. And for guys from, let's say, I would say generally in Europe, the culture of drinking, like, I mean, not just beer, I mean drinking like hard vodka, 40% fucking alcohol, I mean, is like way stronger than in like USA. So I've been like, you know, it's not even like I am some fucking outstanding case, but generally people in Poland drink since they're like 14. So that was also for me. So yeah, since I was like 14 to like, still I was drinking when I was 18. I stopped something after I turned 18, okay? I had this one last part where I actually drink some bigger amount of alcohol, and then I stopped, okay? And since that point I actually started to grind really hard. Is actually the starting point of kind of, I consider it the real starting point of my self-improvement, kind of, okay? When I was already like 18, actually maybe a little before that, no, I would say after that. Generally it doesn't matter, but you will actually, and by the way, I would like to tell you this thing, because I was able to blow up my first type beat channel, to sell my beats while I was still like into partying and drinking. We'll get to party in a minute. But at some point, it just, you know, you're drinking one night, but you're like, you know, the whole fucking day gets fucked up. Another day you wake up at like 3 p.m. So another day gets fucked up. And even day after that, usually you still get up and you're like, you know, generally your your bedtime gets fucked up, so you have like 2 3 solid days fucked up by one drink, okay? And the long run, it fucks up your health, it fucks up like your thinking, okay? Like, you just have to give this up. If you have this kind of addiction, for some people it will be smoking. I stopped smoking a lot earlier. It wasn't like it was more improvement, I would say, to my fitness than to my like producing, because I guess I could smoke and I could still be a decent producer, because it doesn't affect your brain that much. It's more about your lungs and your health. But because I'm I'm into fitness a lot, I just I just cut it off a lot earlier. But if you have this kind of addiction that just fucks you up, so you have taking some drugs, you're drinking, or just smoking a lot of cigarettes, you just have to stop this. It's like you can go like consider I cut video games, like binge watching, shitty friends, and dropping career before that, and only after that I actually like cut drinking off. So I could actually go like probably I made a lot of fucking progress still doing it, but at some point you just can't do things that are like actively fucking working against you, okay? Because those kind of habits, like habit of drinking every few weeks, it's kind of like having those shitty friends. This is working against you in the shadows. You are not seeing this in the instant, but at some point you will think after a few months, fuck, like I lost like so much time. Now I feel overweight. My mental health doesn't really look that good. Like I wasted also like a lot of money on this. Like it was like not fucking worth it, okay? And it takes us to like number 7, because then parties. Because at first I stopped drinking at parties, but I was still going to the parties. I was hanging a lot with my friends, but then I had to sacrifice a lot of partying, okay? I mean like specific parties that I know, going to the club or shit, then going to some house, party in the house, party in the flat, then even like going out at all. Okay, so going out and getting back to home at like 3 a.m. Okay, because I also used to do a lot of that. Yeah, I had to sacrifice this shit. At some point, I would say like, especially like 6 months ago, I totally like stopped kind of doing that. That's like, yeah, literally like 6 months ago I stopped doing it. Now for me, hanging out with friends is just, let's say, going back still pretty like sometimes I will still hang out at later hours, but it is very like rare for me. And obviously it's not like partying that you're just getting so exhausted and are drinking alcohol, smoking, and like whatever, but I'm just like in a conversation with my friends for a little longer, so that's why it takes for more time. But generally right now, hanging out with friends for me is going hitting like training together, going for a run, going for a bike, going swimming, I don't know, I maybe it would even be studying together because I go to university, so it could be something like that. Generally, I know, or just going for a walk and having a proper conversation, but not like going out in the middle of the night, like partying. Like it just, at some point, it will stop you from making progress. I just understood that, like I was in this one situation where I was already like during the party, but I'm just thinking, okay, I can now drink some alcohol. I can like stay out late to 3 a.m. and I can go back tomorrow. I can be I can wake up at 3 p.m. And I thought, fuck, bro, like actually I would rather work on my stuff. I would rather make some beats tomorrow than just have a hangover. And like I just knew for a fact that if I stayed on this party for more time, I would regret it. So I just had to make the decision. Yeah, it would be fun to be here, but I know that I will regret it. I just knew from the past that, yeah, actually always when I did this kind of thing that I stayed up late, even with no alcohol, so I stayed up late for like 3 a.m., I just knew that even though it seemed fun in the instant, after like day later, I just knew that it was wrong fucking decision. So I just made the decision, okay, I'm not doing that. And once you get advanced, you understand that it's actually still more fun to you and it's more beneficial to you to just sometimes do more work on your beats, to just sometimes, do some more uploads, generally do some more grinding than just go to the party, okay? And it takes us to generally sacrifice number 8, which was the relationship, okay? This is kind of, well, generally. You could, I don't know, maybe you're some fucking maniac getting information about me, so generally my ex-girlfriend broke up with me, so you could call it on my decision, but the thing is, this was kind of the result of my actions that I mentioned in this video, okay? So generally, cutting more and more people, cutting like partying, cutting drinking, cutting hanging out late, because it was at some point the most about like, actually about having a girlfriend. That I used to, for at some point, like staying up late was not about hanging out with friends and partying. It was more about hanging out with my girlfriend too, and being at her place at 2 a.m. And yeah, at some point I understood that I can do that for more. At some point, I understood I actually want to be offline for most of the day, so I can't respond to messages. At some point, I know that I actually don't want to hang out with her. I would rather work on my business, okay? In this case, it would be fucking weird if she didn't break up. Like, you know, I made this like idea that, okay, if she's worth it, she will actually respect it and it will work. But she didn't want that, okay? And I think it was like proper decision to me because at first it was for parties. I was in this party and I thought, okay, I know that I will regret it in the future. And the last like part of my sacrifices, that's at this day, okay, because I could make this video 1 year from now and I will make a lot more crazy shit at this point. But at some point I understood, okay, I could like go to this girl and hang out with her and I would have some fun. But I know for a fact, like tomorrow, I will fucking regret it. In terms, I would rather do my work. I would rather like make more beats. I just would rather do that. Okay? And this, like, no, in this one moment, I'm thinking, yeah, it would be so nice. Like, you know, we could, like, you know, we haven't talked in a while. It would be like this whole fucking wholesome thing. But I know that, yeah, actually, at first, I will still thinking about producing while I'll be on this date or something. And next day, I will regret it so fucking much that it's not even okay, like, at some point. Like, it's just not worth it. Because when you're gonna think anyway, during the fucking date, that you should produce, when you're after the date and you're thinking, fuck, why did I do that? I should produce. Like, it takes years to get to this point, honestly. If you're at the point where you've never sold a beat, you've never, like, been into, like, let's say, I don't know, making 1,000 beats during, like, during a few months, I know 100 beats in 1 week or something, like, yeah, it's generally a lot of people will never like get to this stage in producing, but also in other businesses, because generally it requires to become the guy who genuinely loves grinding. Okay, it requires to be the guy who genuinely, when he has no time, like he has ideas, okay, I will do a business, okay, I will do some producing. Most of guys are doing it as extra habit, as some grinding, side hustle, but for me and for guys that are better than me or on my level, it's just life, okay? Even if you're not full-time, even if we still go to school, job, it's still our life. We're thinking, okay, how can I use this time to make more beats, okay? Basically. So, yeah, generally, don't worry if you're at the beginning and those like last advices are scaring you, because honestly, at first you need to practice making a fuck ton of beats, like giving up some video games and stuff, and at some point you will get to a situation where you understand, whoa, I actually want to put more time into producing rather than in this relationship or something, okay? It's, you know, so it seems kind of scary, but when you get to this point, it's not scary at all. Like, it becomes obvious at some point. Like, I sound probably kind of soulless, but yeah, it becomes kind of obvious choice at some point that I would rather put more time into producing, more time into my business, more time into my career, my passion, than into, let's say, hanging out late or drinking or whatever. Yeah, so that's kind of my whole thing for today. These are all things that I had to sacrifice to become who I am. And probably you will have to do the same things if you want to make, I know, first $1,000 selling beats, $10,000 selling beats. If you want to make more, sacrifices will be bigger. And probably they will sound even more insane sometimes, but it is what it is. So if after watching this you don't think that I'm completely fucking insane, so most of you probably think that I'm totally insane, but for those who still think that I'm not totally crazy, you can go into first link in the description. You can find there my 10 hours course on selling 10 hours course specifically on selling beats. There is also my community of like producers similar to yours in similar situation. I also run their weekly meetings when I can just answer your questions, and I try to upload some exclusive content every week too. So yeah, go into first link in the description. That's all for today. Bye.